You wake up somewhere familiar. The light is wrong, but almost right. The sheets are a color you almost chose once. There is coffee already made, and it smells exactly the way you imagined it would. And for just a moment, before your eyes fully open, you do not know which life this is. You have about 10 minutes here. 10 minutes to walk through the version of yourself that almost existed. The one that lives in the city you left, or never moved to. The one that took the offer, stayed, or said yes instead of no. The one that held on, or let go, at a completely different moment than you did. You have 10 minutes to fall for it. And then we are going to talk about how to leave it behind. The window in this life faces east. You notice that first. You watch the light arrive slowly, the way it does in places that feel unhurried. The street below is quieter than your real street, or louder, depending on the life you almost chose. Whatever it is, it fits. It fits like a coat you tried on once and then put back on the rack for no reason you can explain now. The work in this life is the kind you use to stay up thinking about. The kind where the hours disappear because you are too far inside it to notice time passing. There is a shelf here with the books of someone who had more room for that side of themselves. There is a window with a view that shaped a different version of your imagination. There are people in this life. You can feel them the way you feel the presence of furniture in the dark. You know where they are without looking. A friendship that became the kind that holds you together during terrible years. A love that grew slowly, without drama, into something quiet and deep. A version of your own laughter that rings slightly different because it was shaped by different mornings. This life is genuinely beautiful. You are allowed to see that clearly. You are allowed to want it for a moment. That wanting is not weakness. It is just honesty. And that is when the ache arrives. It comes in quietly, the way grief usually does. Not a wave, but a slow pressure. Because the math is irresistible when you are standing inside the version of yourself that never got to exist. You start counting. Years, mostly. How many mornings were different than this one? How many times the light fell differently on your actual ceiling, and you stared at it and did not feel the peace you feel standing here? There is a version of this ache that sounds like accusation. It whispers, "You chose wrong." It says, "Look at what you gave up." It holds this beautiful, unlived morning in front of you like evidence. And the evidence is real. This life would have had things yours does not. That is true, and it deserves to be said plainly. Not softened, not rushed past. You would have learned things here that you will never learn now. You would have loved people who do not know you exist. You would have become a version of yourself that is, in certain ways, better than the one you became. The grief of that is legitimate. You do not have to pretend it is not. The only thing the grief is wrong about is the conclusion. Here is what almost no one tells you about the unlived life. It has a shadow side that you cannot see from the outside. Walk a little further into this morning. Open the door you were not looking at. Look at what this life also cost. The person you built yourself into in your real life, the one forged by the specific difficulties you actually faced, does not exist here. The stubbornness that kept you standing on your worst night was built by your worst night, not someone else's. The friends who know exactly which version of you shows up when things collapse, they were made in the fires of your actual years. They are not here. They never could be. This life has its own beautiful people, yes, but they are not those people. And this version of you never needed to become strong in the particular way you became strong. Which means this version of you is, in certain quiet rooms, more fragile than you are. Every door that opens is a door that closes. That is not a comfort borrowed from a poster. That is the actual structure of a human life. The choice that brought you here also brought 100 other closed doors with it. Choosing is always a cost. The unlived life you are standing in right now. The beautiful one, the one that pulls at you. It also has a room at the back where someone counts what was given up to be here. And that person's list is just as long as yours. Every life is a trade, not a mistake. A trade. The ache you feel for the life you did not live is real, and it is right to feel it. But the math only looks clean because you cannot see the other side of the ledger from where you are standing. The 10 minutes are almost up. You can feel the light shifting. This room, this east-facing window, this quiet street, this beautiful, unlived morning, it is already becoming slightly translucent, like paper held up to a lamp. It is time to go back, not because your life is better in every way, not because you made the perfect choice at the perfect moment, but because your life is the only one where you actually exist. It is the only one where the specific, particular, unrepeatable version of you that was built by your specific years is fully present. Walk back through the door. Your real morning is waiting. It has its own light. It has its own shelf with its own books that shape the actual contours of your interior world. It has the people who were made possible only because you are you, and you went the way you went. The ache for the unlived life is not a signal that you got it wrong. It is proof that you are someone who feels the full weight of what it means to be alive, that you understand, somewhere below the level of language, that every choice is also a kind of love. You loved one future enough to walk toward it. You loved it, even knowing that walking toward it meant leaving 100 other futures standing in the road. That is not a failure. That is what a life looks like from the inside. The what if does not mean you missed your life. It means you lived one. Go make your coffee. Let the light fall the way it actually falls this morning. Notice the specific, imperfect shape of the day you are actually inside. The unlived life was real, and it was beautiful, and you are allowed to carry a quiet tenderness for it. But this life, the one you are standing in right now, with its own cost and its own gifts, this life is the one that made you someone worth knowing, and the only life that asks you for your actual name. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.